What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about one from Scream Factory, and it is The Strangers. So this movie stars Liv Tyler, Scott Speedman as a couple in the middle of a pretty big tiff. They're out of town attending a wedding, and he ended up proposing to her, and she said absolutely not, that she wasn't ready to get married. So they got all kinds of tension between them. They're fighting. They get back to the place that they're staying. He decides he's just going to leave. He calls somebody to come pick him up. He's got to get out of there. But slowly they start to kind of cool down and, not reconcile, but they start to get there and things start to get a little bit romantic. And then there's a knock at the door, and it's this strange girl, and she's looking for somebody that they don't know. There's nobody else really around, in the area. And it becomes clear that these three strangers have arrived, and they're kind of lurking out in the darkness, and they don't know what they want. Nobody knows what they're going to do and how far they're going to go. And that's pretty much the movie. It's just that there's these three strangers lurking, and they're going to do stuff to this couple, and who knows what it is and how it's going to turn out. That's pretty much the story here. So I like this movie. I don't like it as much as some people do. I certainly like it much better than I do the sequel, Strangers Pray at Night. I like this movie the best when it relies on kind of psychological tension, which is where you see the characters like lurking in the background, or even if they're not there, you get the idea of what's going on because, you just have that like eerie suspense, tension, and anticipation. That's where this movie shines, in my opinion. Once the strangers actually get inside, things kind of take a turn for the worse, in my opinion, and it kind of turns into a more run-of-the-mill thriller with some light horror elements and a little bit of that like home invasion torture deal, but not much. The movie actually doesn't have very much blood in it, save for a couple scenes, and even then it's not really that graphic. No real sleaze is present either. I think this is definitely a little bit more psychological than most horror movies of this type, but again, aside from just like a few key scenes, it's more or less just kind of a basic thriller, but it's effective. I mean, for the most part, it works. Liv Tyler is good. Scott Speedman is okay. The strangers are what they are. They don't really get a chance to do much, but they look really cool. They look really eerie, and they have a pretty good presence, which is pretty much all you need for this. One of the things that gets me is that the movie's kind of making a point of they're just doing this to do it. Like, there's not really a lot of motivation behind what they're doing. They're just doing it because they're home. That's the tagline of the movie. Yet it doesn't really have that, like, visceral feel to it. Like an unhinged or even, like, sociopathic feel. It just never really goes for the throat, and I think that was a mistake of this movie. I think that Strangers Pray at Night goes in the opposite direction, where it goes for the throat, but then like the camera pulls away at the last second. Like it almost has the nerve to do it, but of course that loses all the psychological tension from this movie. But you can check that out in a separate review. Anyway, The Strangers, I think much better than the sequel. I do like the psychologically tense parts of the movie. I think the performances are good. I think the strangers look cool and have a really good presence in the movie. But I just think that about the halfway point, it kind of runs out of gas, and then it kind of just turns into kind of a cliche of what you would expect from a movie like this. I wish it was nastier. I wish it was more violent. I wish it was more just something. I wish it just went for something instead of just kind of like slowing down and then puttering out. I wish it would at least like slam into a wall, and give us something. But I do think it's a good movie. I think if you like horror thrillers, it's one to check out. The Blu-ray from Scream Factory has a new HD master from the 2K Digital Intermediate. That's the theatrical cut and the unrated cut. They've both been given new transfers, so that's really cool. It's also got, as far as new stuff, looks like it's got some new interviews with the writer, director, and the actors. Then it brings back the old cast and crew interviews, deleted scenes, trailers, still galleries, TV spots, stuff like that. So it's a good disc. The transfer looks okay. It's not spectacular, but it looks good. It's certainly, I think, on par with the original Blu-ray, to be honest. I couldn't really see too much of an improvement here. But it does have some nice new extras as well as all the previous extras, and it's nice to have everything kind of in one neat package. And of course, people love slip covers, so you got a slip cover here. As for if this is a worth upgrading, it's going to depend on how much you like the movie. Whether those few new extras and a slight visual improvement is going to be worth it. To some people, that's going to be more than enough. For other people, it's not. It's just going to depend on your feelings about the movie and your, expendable income. So, but I think it's a solid movie. I think it's a very good treatment, and that's about all you can ask. You can read my full write-up of The Strangers, as well as The Strangers Pray at Night at my website, markfusion.com. You can also check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all that kind of fun stuff. Plus, Letterboxd, you can see what I've been watching and get an idea of what might be coming up on this channel soon. You can also check me out on Patreon if you want to get exclusive content. There's a video up there right now for Tommy Wiseau's The Neighbors TV show. But the best thing you can do to help me out is just hit that sub button. Free, easy, direct way to support me. Help me to keep making these videos. You can also check out my old videos. That's a massive help as well. You can read, or you can view my review for The Strangers Prey at Night, as well as a ton of other Scream Factory titles and horror movies, hundreds and hundreds. So thank you so much for watching this video. I do sincerely appreciate it, guys. Hopefully I'll see you soon.